The Mary Sue is filled with hypocritical hacks who don't understand what the gaming and entertainment audiences they're trying to capture want, and now they're attacking us for simply not liking Rogue's character design, telling us to shut up and go to therapy. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, I'm not really surprised to see that they're attacking people who are a little bit upset or a little bit underwhelmed by this new female character's design, because they constantly complain when anybody calls out a design they like, but it says that X-Men 97 trailer sent a very welcome chill down many a spine the other week, especially for those who have carved a special place in their hearts for the original animated series. But not everyone was entirely happy with the character designs, as evidenced by the comparisons of the 97 Rogue to her far more sexualized 90 counterpart. Cue the many internet comments in the vein of, look what they took from us. When you are taking already existing characters with their designs and you are altering them all these years later, and you are not trying to capture that same feeling with them, and in some cases, yes, that happens to be the way that the women look, and if they look sexy or not, people are going to complain, and people are allowed to complain because we had certain expectations that this company simply did not reach. It says now the internet isn't a real place, and I reckon many of the folks who pitched in on this micro phenomenon wouldn't dare show this kind of behavior if they were face to face with any real women in their lives. Why do you say that? Why are you using this, like, think of the women card? There are plenty of women, myself included, who are upset with this new design and the changes that they made. And I hate when they do this, because it just goes to show that they have no clue what they're talking about, because there are plenty of women who are upset by this. And now they say the internet isn't a real place. This isn't a real character. So what does it even matter if she was sexualized or if her character design happen to highlight her assets? We are talking about fictional characters here. It's really not that bad to want fictional female characters who actually look feminine, who look attractive, who are nice to the eyes. That should not be something that we as consumers are attacked for wanting. It says, well, you start by explaining that you have a programmed tendency to measure a woman's value based on how much her body, specifically her chest and hips, appeals to you specifically, and how you as a result have trouble viewing a woman and her body, or any body other than the group yours belongs to, for that matter, in any context outside of that appeal. And so when a woman's body, a body that once appealed to your fantasy and now no longer does, shows up on screen, you feel as though something is being taken from you, because on some level you struggle with engaging with women as real people with thoughts, feelings, ambitions, and character. And in trying to avoid the discomfort that comes with trying to do that, you instead defer to the more familiar, comfortable act of viewing them as objects that have their value determined based on how closely they're tailored to your sexual preference. Now, obviously, this is ridiculous for so many reasons, but let's start with the obvious one. Back when the original X-Men 90s series was created, yes, they were trying to appeal to a male audience, because when it comes to comic book content, yes, a lot of the audience, the majority of the audience, are males, so they do want to appeal to the male eye. Now, of course, they would call it the male gaze, even though that's a ridiculous concept, and it's simply looking at something that is attractive and happens to be the the person or the gender that you are attracted to. And it's not a bad thing if you are a man who wants to look at a fictional female character's body, because she is not real and you cannot objectify a fictional object or character. And they go on to say that when, a body that once appealed to your fantasy no longer does, shows up on your screen, you feel as though something's being taken from you. That's because it is being taken from you, because we had this previous design and this previous character model that they are no longer following intentionally. And it's sad to see, but it's not very surprising coming from Marvel at this point. It also says you could furthermore try to explain that while maybe this doesn't entirely encapsulate who you are, the feeling of entitlement you've expressed towards women's bodies has proven to be something that you harbor, and despite knowing this, you've refused to do the work to shed such a trait up to this point, and thereby continue to be complicit as a conduit for a grotesque harmful idea that, beyond the unwelcome sexualization that it imposes on women, largely serves as the basis for widespread violence against women as well. And they have no proof of this at all whatsoever. It's like the video games cause real world violence argument. There are so many studies, a plethora of them, that prove otherwise, but there are people that are constantly ignoring them to try to push their own argument and, of course, push their own agenda. And they say that by sexualizing women, it also serves as the basis for widespread violence against women, and they show no proof of that, because that is the most absurd thing I have ever heard, okay? Also, if you look at me right now, I'm a woman, and you then go and look at Rogue's original character design and you think she is sexy, that doesn't mean that you are objectifying me. It does not mean that you are objectifying every single woman. It just means that you think her character design is pretty or sexy, however you want to say it. It doesn't mean that because you think one fictional female character is sexy, that you are sexualizing every woman. Like, these arguments are so ridiculous and honestly weak. I read a Mary Sue article and all I can do is help laugh, because they provide no proof or evidence of their points at all whatsoever, and they constantly just attack the very people that they're talking about. In this case, they're just talking about anybody who is upset by X-Men's 97 Rogue character design and the fact that they did ultimately tone her down. It is a pathetic article to release, and not that I'm really that surprised by the Mary Sue putting this one up. It'll be interesting to see when this series actually releases how much backlash there is surrounding character designs and character changes, but also how much outlets like the Mary Sue defend this series and say anybody who is attacking it is racist or sexist or toxic, because they're already starting with that. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.